ESPN has ranked the New York Giants as the worst roster in the National Football League. They talked about their biggest X factors, their strongest positions, and weakest positions. We're going to go over that, and they've also given us an early look at the depth chart heading into training camp. We're going to react to that, all that around the corner. But first, I just want to say major shout out to everybody that has subscribed to Giants Now this month. We told you we were in a subscriber battle with the Cowboys Report, and we're up 91 subs on them. Let's lengthen the gap. If you love the Giants, you hate the Cowboys, and you want free, informative, entertaining updates every day, smash that sub button. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it as ESPN says the New York Giants have the worst roster in the NFL. And look, I've come on here the past couple of weeks and said the Giants do not have the talent on this roster right now to compete in the NFC East and try to make the playoffs. That's why they need to go out and restructure Andrew Thomas's contract, create that extra $14 million, pair that with the $12 million you have nearly $30 million, go out and sign some talented football players, because those people are out there right now looking for jobs, and they play positions the Giants need help at. But that's a video for another day. Let's react to the article where ESPN said the biggest strength of the Giants is the defensive front. And this is obvious, right? You go out and trade for Brian Burns, give him $150 million. You have Dexter Lawrence, $90 million. Kayvon Thibodeau, number 5 overall pick. Azeez Ojulari, former second-round pick. A lot of talent there. They need to produce. ESPN's Michael Clay in the article says this, quote, the Giants have many roster concerns, but they certainly have some star power up front. Dexter Lawrence, second-team All-Pro each of the past 2 seasons, is one of the league's best defenders. And while New York is extremely shaky behind him at DT, Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau form a potentially dominant edge rusher duo. We know Burns, 46 sacks in 5 seasons, is great. And while Thibodeau is still progressing, the 2022 first-round pick made a big leap with 11.5 sacks last season. If the Giants are going to be a formidable team, if they are going to compete late in the season and play meaningful ball games when it gets cold outside, they are going to do it because of the ability that number 5, number 0, and number 97 possess. The most talent, but also the most resources have been poured into the D-line. They need to lead this team to victories on Sunday. They say the biggest weakness for the Giants, right back on defense, the secondary. And this has been a long-time worry for me. I thought Deonte Banks had a solid rookie year, but he looked like a rookie at times. He was up and down. Needs to take a leap, and outside of him, it's question marks throughout the cornerback depth chart specifically. Mike Clay says this about it, quote, with Xavier McKinney and Adoree Jackson gone, the Giants have what is arguably the league's shakiest unit at both corner and safety. Deonte Banks, a 2023 first-round pick, will need to make a leap forward in year 2 and carry the CB room. The likes of Cor'Dale Flott, Nick McCloud, Trey Hawkins, and a third-round rookie Drew Phillips are among those competing for the other starting jobs. At safety, Jason Pinnock has proved to be a competent starter, and he'll be joined by some combination of second-round rookie Tyler Nubin, Dane Belton, and Jalen Mills. When it comes to the cornerback room specifically, the word potential needs to be turned into production. You could say that about Deonte Banks. You could say that about Cor'Dale Flott. You could say that about Trey Hawkins. Some of these young guys the Giants have spent draft picks on in the secondary, we need to stop talking about potential, and they need to produce. That's with guys like Tyler Nubin. I know he's still a rookie, but second-round pick from this year, you want to see him at least contribute a little bit to some winning football on that side of the field. Dane Belton as well needs to contribute. So, some of these young players, let's go from talking about they have potential to let's saying they are productive football players. ESPN hit the nail on the head with this one, though, saying the X factor for this season is right tackle Evan Neal. I have beat this drum time and time again that Evan Neal is not only the biggest X factor, also the biggest question mark entering this season, and really the success of this offense kind of teeter-totters on his shoulders. Seth Walters says this, quote, it's make or break time for 2022 number 7 overall pick Evan Neal. As it stands, he represents one of many weaknesses on the roster. He ranked 54th out of 69 tackles and pass block win rate last season. If he can live up to his draft stock, he would form an exceptional tackle duo with Andrew Thomas. But so far in his young career, it hasn't happened. And there's a lot of reasons as to why Neal has not been the prospect that the Giants thought they were getting by selecting him number 7 overall out of Alabama. Injuries, right? He's only played in 20 games in 2 seasons. The technique is bad. You could blame Bobby Johnson. Hopefully, Carmen Brasillo can coach him up, but he hasn't participated in team drills once this offseason. He may have suffered a setback. He went from participating in individual drills in OTAs to not participating in individuals in minicamp. Hopefully he's ready to go in training camp. Giants need to be a good football player, or we once again could have one of the worst offensive lines in the National Football League. Another topic that they discussed in this ESPN write-up was a non-starter to know. And I thought the selection of Eric Gray was really interesting. Aaron Schatz says, quote, just how much can the Giants pile the carries on veteran addition Devin Singletary? Somebody is going to have to give him a breather and play if Singletary gets hurt. This 2023 fifth-round pick is first in line. It's a positive that his receiving and blocking get good reviews, but he had just 17 carries for 48 yards in his rookie season. It is just still, you don't know what Eric Gray is. He's an unknown commodity at this point. Could year 2 be the year that he jumps and becomes a productive player? Hope so. You draft him in the 5th round, and you want those guys to produce. Good teams have picks from day 3 in the NFL draft produce. The Giants, they need Eric Gray to do that. I think Singletary is obviously going to be the one that receives a lion's share of these reps. But like they mentioned, if he gets hurt, who are they going to turn to? Could Eric Gray be that guy? Don't think he's a punt returner at this point, but I do like the way that he runs in between the tackles. We'll see how much his workload increases this season. Grade the Giants' 2024 roster for me, though. Get out your red pen and let me know A, B, C, D, or F. Coming up next, we're going to react to ESPN's release of the Giants' depth charts heading into training camp. There's some things I want to talk about, but first, I got to let you guys in on a secret as we have a brand new sponsor here on Giants Now. It's True Nutrition. Go to truenutrition.com/chat and use that promo code chat for 15% off. All that information will be clickable in the comments and description of today's video. If you're buying protein powder or other supplements, you should be concerned about the ingredients. It's not a secret that the supplement industry is not heavily regulated, and many products on the market have fillers and even harmful chemicals in them. That's why I'm excited to have True Nutrition on board. It can be really hard to find the right protein powder to match your body and fitness goals. That's why with True Nutrition, you can create your own fully customizable protein powder mix with the exact ingredients you want based on your activity, taste, diet, and goals. This truly is sports nutrition designed by you with the highest quality products possible and no BS. I've been on the French vanilla protein. I love the taste. Probably my favorite thing about it, on top of the fact that it's really good for you. It's ready in minutes, pure ingredients, nutritious, and delicious, acceptable, and affordable. If you're trying to get back in shape or get into better shape and you're looking for a protein powder or other supplements, check out True Nutrition. That's truenutrition.com/chat. Use that promo code chat for 15% off your entire first order. It's for a limited time. Here for our listeners on Giants Now, get 15% off your entire order when you use code chat at checkout. That's 15% off your order at truenutrition.com/chat with the promo code chat. Take the guesswork out of nutrition with True Nutrition. The link and code will be in the comments and description. Let's start with the offense when it comes to Giants starters, where the depth chart was released by ESPN. This is not the Giants' official depth chart. It's ESPN's knowledge of what the depth chart is. Obviously, QB1, Daniel Jones. No shock there. Says he's going to be ready for training camp and also going to be ready for week 1 to take down the Minnesota Vikings. Devin Singletary, your offseason acquisition. You sign him to replace Saquon Barkley. Wears the same number, plays the same position. He'll be your RB1 pretty much for the whole season if he does stay healthy. Malik Neighbors was the first wide receiver listed by ESPN in the depth chart, selected number 6 overall. He has passed the eye test through the early spring and summer portions of the offseason programs. Some people say he looks better than advertised. I'm excited to see what he does on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursday nights. Darius Slayton, your wide receiver, too. He's really been the Giants' lone bright spot at receiver for a couple of years now, leading this team in receiving yards for the last 5 years. You actually have a pretty solid, decent receiving core now with some Neighbors, Slayton, and Wan'Dale Robinson rounding out that unit. Robinson entering his 3rd year after being a 2nd-round pick out of Kentucky, a year removed from that ACL, said he feels good. Some of the numbers he hit on the GPS this offseason were higher than they've ever been. Expect a big year from him operating out of the slot. From the skill players, let's talk to the big boys up front. Andrew Thomas, going to be your left tackle, one of the best in the business. Need him to stay healthy, and let's not have him get hurt on the first drive of the season, chasing down a blocked field goal. Jermaine Illuminor, the former right tackle for the Las Vegas Raiders, He's going to be your starting left guard, according to ESPN. He's been training there all off season long. I wish he was your starting right tackle because he's the best right tackle on this team, but that is a decision that Brian Daboll gets to make. Second-year center John Michael Schmitz returns as the starting center. Did not live up to the bill, did not live up to the hype in his rookie season. Can Carmen Brasillo turn it around, coach up that technique a little bit? You need him to be a better football player after using another priority pick on him in this offensive line. John Runyon comes over via free agency from the Green Bay Packers. He says he's more comfortable playing left guard, so you know what? The Giants are going to play him at right guard. It's almost like they just like to play offensive linemen at their second best position. Evan Neal, your starting right tackle, the biggest X factor. If Neal, as I almost just choked on air right there, if Evan Neal can be a productive football player, this team's going to be all right. I'm just not so sure he's got that inside of him right now. D-line, best position on the team. Dexter Lawrence, the best nose tackle in the National Football League. Can't wait to hit the sexy Dexy on Sundays. A little bit worried about the DT2 position with Rakeem Nunez-Roches. You could go Jordan Phillips, could be DJ Davidson, maybe Jordan Riley. One of my bigger concerns on this team, that second DT behind Dexter Lawrence. Brian Burns, the big-time offseason addition to this team, the trade with the Carolina Panthers. We saw in the preview for Hard Knocks, Joe Shane had said it probably cost 2 second-round picks to get him done. Only costed one. Big-time move by Joe Shane, and also $150 million. Kayvon Thibodeau rounds out your starting edge rushers, and you need him to be great this year. He had 11.5 sacks last year, needs to continue to improve, and with other talented players like Lawrence and Burns on this D-line, some of the pressure and focus shifts away from Thibodeau. Can he take advantage of that when the pocket and the blocking schemes are rolled the opposite way? The linebacker core for the Giants, I thought it was interesting that they listed 3 starting off-ball linebackers. Giants are going to run a 3-4. So kind of interesting here. But Bobby Okereke, one of the most underrated inside linebackers in the NFL. The game he put together against the Buffalo Bills last year was incredible. Go rewatch that. Just a menace on the football field. Glad that he's a part of this team. Micah McFadden is a running mate, over 100 tackles last year, but had a really high missed tackle percentage. Needs to cut that down, and if he does, he's going to be a good player in this league for a really long time. Isaiah Simmons also named a starter by ESPN. We did that video talking about where he's going to play a new position for the Giants, which is like the money position. They didn't call it the money backer position, calling it money, pretty much the same thing. It's your third strong safety. It's a big nickel. It's a pass coverage linebacker. It's someone that's going to play in the box that is really a DB on passing downs. Deonte Banks, your CB1. It's time for him to be that dude. Number 24 overall pick last year. In year 2, you need that guy to be a shutdown player. Cor'Dale Flott, he's going to start, they say. Brian Daboll has given him his vote of confidence. Jerome Henderson, he also has doubled down. Will he be the starting boundary corner in Week 17? That's something I'm a little bit more worried about. Nick McCloud sounds like he could be your starting slot corner. I'm a fan of McCloud. I like him more of a depth piece because of his versatility. He can play in the slot, can play outside, can rotate to the safety. Good special teams player. Not so sure if I want 2 of my starting 3 corners to be Cor'Dale Flott and Nick McCloud, but beggars can't be choosers. Jason Pinnock, Jay Penny, player that I think is really going to take a step this year, was really good last year, used in a lot of ways, but I think in this new defense where they play a lot of 2 high safeties and sometimes 3 safety sets where he can come in, blitz, play off the edge in the box, his versatility is really going to be something that we're going to notice this year. Tyler Nubin being the starting safety over Dane Belton was definitely shocking for me. But probably a good thing because you're used to pick 47 on him, second round pick. You need him to produce. I like Dane Belton as well. I want him to get a fair shot. Seems to always be around the football, right place, right time type of player. I think that goes back and just reflects on a player's instincts and vision and football IQ. I think that Belton has that. I want to see him on the field, but I also think Tyler Nubin could be a stud and maybe one of the better players in this draft class. My question to you, after we just went through the starting lineup, we told you what ESPN said about it. Strength, weaknesses, X factor, best non-starter to not know. Where do the Giants rank when it comes to roster? The Giants have the blank best roster in the NFL. Is it the best? Is it the worst? 1 to 32. Let me know. Overall, look, you need more talent. Talent wins in this league, as does coaching and as does complimentary football. Giants aren't the most talented team right now. I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL when it comes to talent, but I do think they're somewhere in the bottom 12, 20 to 32. You need to get better. There's ways. You could do it. You can go out and sign Stephon Gilmore. Give him enough money, he won't tell you no. You can go out and sign a couple of good football players. But you know what? Doesn't sound like Joe Schoen is going to be that aggressive this offseason at this point. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Let's go Big Blue.